Good morning, good afternoon, folks, wherever you're at, East Coast, West Coast, Northern Zone, Southern Zone. To our brothers in Europe, I guess you guys are about to take your dinner before you get into bed. So I'd like to say thank you for having stayed up this long for us to do this presentation with you. Again, this is AJ at KETRON USA. Before we go ahead, I'd like to make sure that the sound is good out there, the pictures are good, and that way we can go ahead without worrying about connections and what have you. So let's take a look at the folks on Facebook. They are up and about already. Someone says nice. Oh yeah, so good. Everything is working now for the most part. And we have this going out to most of our friends and families and all those on Facebook. So we're going to go ahead and share this. Let's see if I can get my mouse to work. Here we go. We're going to share that and arrange your keyboards as well on the Audias and all these other pages so we can actually see exactly what we're going through and have a lot of people joining as well. Guitar Players Forums. Yes, we go. Yes, here we go. So let's see, great ideas. Yeah, we have that as well too. And we are going to share this again with all these different groups. Audio, style, and sound. Yes, sir. So these are all our fellow friends as well. And we're going to go over to the folks on YouTube and see if we can also, let's see. No, we don't want to do that. We have sound coming as well. That's good. So we have the folks as well on YouTube. So once again, this is AJ. Let me just say something here for the folks on YouTube. Since they are pretty much running with text and stuff, and we're gonna, while wait for them to respond, we're gonna come back to the people on Facebook. So good. All right, so without much ado, we're gonna get started, and people are gonna be coming in at their leisure. So again, this is AJ at KETRON USA, and I'd like to say welcome. Merry Christmas in advance to those of you who we might not see again next week before Christmas, and a happy, prosperous New Year from all of us here at KETRON USA. So today's show is pretty much not really a structured one per se, but we are here to get questions and to answer, as we always do, questions from the previous event as well. So as we wait for guys to come in, ladies and gentlemen and kids as well, let's see if we can listen to this nice famous tune here, which we're going to do with Arranger. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing behind the scenes in terms of bringing in the different voices, which is why I have these sliders in front of me, thank goodness. And also with the sustain pedal, which I don't think you can see because I can actually have my sustain pedal. I have two boards here. Let me switch over so you can see what I am seeing, right? So I have the SD9, and I also have the Audya 5, and I have two sustain pedals on the bottom, which I use to sustain the notes. For an example, I can sustain the note on that one, and on the other pedal, I can sustain the note on that, okay? If I hit them both together, of course, I'm gonna have this. Right, so, again, I have this set up this way so we can actually, get the best of both worlds. So without much ado, while we're waiting for more people to come in, let us go ahead and do some illustration with this tune. Also listen to the articulation that we have on there on this sound. If I hold the note for more than 3 seconds, again, that's a very nice AJAMSONIC feature that we have if you have that package installed in your board. So, like a bridge flowing over troubled waters, right? Like a bridge traveling over troubled waters. So that was a very nice one there. And in that particular tune, what I did was I pretty much used an R&B beat, slowed it down a little bit, and just triggering the chords was able to activate the arranger functions in there. Also, you could listen to some of the arpeggiated notes that we had in there, thanks to our lowers, right? So again, we discussed this the last show we had last week. If you don't remember that video, please go back and watch that, because it shows you how we were able to use or get arpeggios into the SD9. If you have the AJAMSONIC package installed in your instrument, then you already have those. It's just a matter of how do you utilize them. And just a quick rundown again, I'm going to show you the screen here real quick. So what you want to do is you want to go into you want to go into the view right here on the bottom of your screen, okay? And once you are in the view, you can then use the lower one and lower two, which is right now soft and electric piano. And then, of course, you just touch that box and you can assign any of the arps that you have, any of the sounds or from the sample set that you have within the instrument, and assign that to lower one and lower two. So you can actually use two different voices like we discussed last week. You can use two voices on your left side of the keyboard, right? And then, of course, you can use four on the right, which is three plus what they call the second voice. So being able to split the keyboard and have different voices in the right, different voices on your left, or different voices which respond to your touch, how hard or how soft you play. These are some of the very interesting features that we do have on the SD90. So in this second example, I'm going to briefly talk about, do like a nice big band. And this is just to give you an idea of one of the functions that we have in here, which is called live modeling on the bottom of the screen right there. If I take you to the screen, you can see that button right there. So the live modeling allows us to go in and change instrument parts. And you can do this on the fly, or you can actually arrange this and set this up, and then, of course, save it for future recall. So let's listen to this customized swing quartet style that we have here on the SD9. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and show you the, there we go, there we go. I'm going to start this nice and gentle with just drum and bass. I'm going to pull out the chord. I'm going to probably also pull out the lowers there, okay? So that way we can actually hear what's going on with the rhythm section. So here we go. Listen to that nice bass line, right? Thumpy bass line, very nice and rich. So that was just me being carried away a little bit there. But you can see exactly what we're doing, right? Changing the different variations, and you can have that live drum kicking in real time. Now, how do we build that? How do we get to that particular point, okay? So you have an existing style in there. I'm going to go in here to variation A, and let's go back into the keyboard so you can see what exactly was done. So you have this rhythm. I'm not going to do anything on my right hand, for an example, all right? You hear that bass line, for an example. And you can model that bass line. So real quick, I can say, listen, I want to take that bass line and model it, maybe change it up a little bit and have a different notes being played within that particular variation. So it's very, very simple. Go into live modeling, for an example, and you're going to be brought to that screen over there. So I'm going to take you over to the screen. That's what your screen should look like. And you can choose what you want to model. In this case, on the top right of the screen, you can see it says live drum, right? So because the live drum box is selected. Now, I want to model the bass. I'm going to go ahead and touch the bass box over there. Right, you can see it coming on and off. Now, if I touch and hold that for 2 seconds, it brings me to this screen, right? And in this screen, you can see the different categories of different bass lines that are available for you. So look at this as bass lines. You have ballad and pop bass lines. You have R&B funk bass lines. You even have dance bass lines. So in this case, we have a big band rhythm. But nothing prevents me from, let's say, going in there and touching Latin and looking for a Latin bass line. Now the screen displays all the different bass lines that are available in the Latin category. And of course, if you have the AJAMSONIC package, you have extra bass lines at the bottom of this as well too. So right now you heard that bass line, it sounded like a big band, right? Let's say I want to just change that bass line slightly and put a salsa bass line in there. So this is what it sounded like before. That's my bass line. If I touch salsa 01, I mean, you can make this real, make it get funky. Salsa 3, okay. Salsa 6. So again, I can even pick rumba if I wanted to. Hit 7. So all I did in that case was change the bass line, okay? I did a bass line switch over there. So I have this playing right now, okay? What if I wanted to add or change the live guitar, for an example? Now, if you notice, this particular arrangement, this particular one, does not have the live guitar in it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can go in there real quick, and I'm going to add the live guitar, right? I'm going to add the live guitar into the existing arrangement, so that that way it's let me see if I can get you guys to see me on the swell. Oh, there we go. Okay, so some people were saying they wanted to look at me on the screen. I was able to figure that out behind the scenes. So let's continue. So you want to have the live guitar as well in here. So pay attention to your screen right now, right? So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to touch and hold. Let's see. The rumba guitar in there, touch it and hold. Or maybe I want to just add a live guitar in there. So I'm going to go to this section, which is free right now. Touch and hold that for 2 seconds. And I'm going to go over to my guitars, okay? My chord 5. Let's see here. And this is, no, that's my bass. Let me see. Where are my guitars? My guitars, those are my live drums. Here we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go into live guitars, you can see on the screen. And you have the one that is in there currently says swing. I can pick a whole bunch. I mean, I have so many different live guitars to pick from. And again, the strength of this instrument is not only being able to use the live guitars, but you can make them go fast, slow, and you can change the tonality of the guitar in real time based on what chords you play. That's where the magic really happens. It's not just playing with an audio loop, but it's being able to control that loop, right? And that's where the SD9 and the Audya series really, really shine, above the norm. I mean, you can have great samples, but a lot of times, as most of you already know, you don't have the characteristic of the instrument captured within those samples. So when you have a live guitar player playing a guitar and strumming, now you can take that recording or take that part of the instrument and not only play it back, but control it in real time. So let's look at this live guitar here, for example. This is what it sounded like before we made a selection. Ding, 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 ding. Again, we had a new bass line in there, right? If I go and pick the funk 7th, so, I mean, this is just to give you an example of funk number 2. That's a live guitar playing in the background. You can hear it's a little bit low, right? So I'm going to go to the volume. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to touch the volume knob here and bring that volume up for this guitar right there. I think I had the wrong instrument highlighted. Okay, that's guitar 71 is the volume. I'm going to bring it up. Here, it sounds like I forgot to turn this off. I know we're going to be getting calls. Please don't call right now. Let me, first of all, go ahead and finish this, and then we can take calls later. Sorry. So let me finish the show first, and I can take calls later, okay? So this is the live guitar we just added in there. So if I'm playing... I just picked one out, you know, you can always go back in there and switch it out. So that's what you do when you're doing the live modeling part. You're picking different instrumentations, be that guitars, be that bass line, even the drums, right? You can pick different drum lines, and you can, again, remember, we're working in just this variation over here. If I go that here, we're variation A. So for each of these variations, A, B, C, and D, you can actually be able to program different bass lines and different variation chords, guitars, trumpets, different from all those tables I just showed you for A, B, C, and D. And when you're done, guess what? You just press the save button and you save it as your own style. Remember, you cannot overwrite the factory style, so don't be scared, right? The factory styles are in their own location. What you can do is you pretty much take that factory style, you make any modifications, and then when you save it, it gets saved as a user style. And where do you find that style? So if you go back here to the style screen, there's a button on the bottom there that says user, okay? So let's go to the screen real quick. If this button is off, whenever you make a selection on this keyboard, on any of these categories, ballad, dance, and folk, on the left, you're looking at the factory styles. These are your factory styles that are displayed over here, okay? So if I go, for an example, into country, and I select, I can turn the wheel, I have a whole bunch of countries. And of course, if you have the AJAMSONIC package, you even have way more. But if you make a modification to a rhythm, or you load an extra rhythm, or if you have the AJAMSONIC package and you want to see where all my extra bells and whistles are, touch the button over there that says user on the bottom of the screen. And again, you go through all these different categories. Ballads, you see these are all the AJAMSONIC styles in there. Of course, you know, pop, party, country, Latin, swing. So long as the user button is on, you're getting the extra stuff. The same applies for the voices. If you go to the voices over here, so long as the user icon is on, and you're going to see AJAM, DX Piano, these are, again, you go through all the different categories, and you have all the different AJAM voices that we have already demos for on the website. So I'm not going to go through them now so I don't have to waste time, right? But if the user voice button is off, and you go through these categories, these are all your factory sounds. These are all the sounds that came along with your instrument. Again, like I said before, whatever we're doing right now applies to the SD9 or the SD90, which is a module version of that, and also the SD7 and the SD40 as well. And down the road, I'm going to explain, we're going to do some extra stuff which is unique to the SD9 and SD60, okay? So I figured I would show you that. Again, live modeling is a very powerful tool for those of you who don't want to create styles from scratch. And just so you know, I know we've been asking, people have been asking, how do you make a style from scratch? Let me see if I can cover that in 5 minutes. So to make a rhythm from scratch, and this is going to be very, very interesting, especially for those in the United States and the Americas in general, because they like to create stuff from scratch, and they're not really comfortable with the arranger style of playing. You know, that's for like organ players, for example. That's where the whole arranger idea came from the organs. But in the United States, a lot of us are used to sampling and sequencing and doing everything track by track. But you can also achieve that on here. And we have a video, a detailed video on YouTube. But I just saw a question that came up about real quick, how do you record a style from scratch? So let me start off with this then. to do that, I'm going to go into an existing style. I'm going to touch the view. It brings me to that screen. And I'm going to touch edit on the bottom right-hand corner there, right? So for this, I'm going to take myself off this so you can see the full screen, because this is very important. And we're not going to touch on all the features now just to keep the video precise. But you see right there, it says new style on the bottom of the screen. So in this screen, you're seeing the content of your existing style. You want to make a new one. So you're going to touch new style. And it's going to ask you, style memory will be erased. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Now, style memory just means the location in memory now that has the existing style. It's not the entire style memory. It's not all your styles are going to be erased. No, just that particular one that you're using. And it's now asking you for a name. So we're going to call this style, let's call it AJ Demo, because after this I'm going to take it out. So AJ Demo, and I'm going to touch enter. So the machine now takes you to this clean slate, right? So right now we are here, we have nothing on board, we just have this. And what exactly is this? So this is now the different tracks of the style. So in this particular case, we're going to now talk about the screen and how we use this. So right now, if I touch my keyboard, for the most part, I'm going to be able to see that I have the current sound which is selected. So if I go here and I want to record, let's say I want to record the drums, which is normally what you want to start with first. I'm going to touch the drum right here, okay? And I'm going to now go into my recording right there. So if you notice, the record turns into bright orange, right? And automatically, the key bed, if I can get on that right here, becomes a drum set, okay? There we go, nice heavy kick. And that's the good thing about KETRON, right? These are live samples, so they have a lot of energy to them, a lot of energy in this kit. So now, normally before you come in here, you want to go into where it says parameter, right? And I'm going to go in here and set the different parameter for the style. So here is where you set the tempo. For an example, you set is it a 4/4, is it a 3/4? And how many bars do you want it to be? In this case, I want it to be 4 bars. I'm going to keep it nice and short. And I can use the metronome, which is a click on right there, so I can hear, I have an idea of how this is going to sound like, right? The tempo is 120. I'm going to keep that. Let's try and make that a little bit slower. So let's make it 110, okay? I'm going to keep the quantize. And also here, I can select, what tonality I want to record in. But I'm going to keep it in major. So it's whatever I'm recording right now is going to be applied towards all the different chord modes that I play on the keyboard, right? So let's get back into full screen mode so you can see the full screen once again. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to go back now and go back to Arranger, to Arranger A, and that's what I want to record. I'm going to hit the record button, and it takes me now to that particular track. And when I hit the start button on the panel right here, it's going to give me a 4-measure count in, and then it's going to start recording whatever content I play on the machine. So let's just do this for this demo. So we have that in there, right? Okay, double kick came in at the end. I'm going to quantize that, 16. I'm going to hit execute, and that should take care of that last note. It's going to quantize it and push it into the 16th note, all right? Now, I'm going to add something else. I want to add maybe a hi-hat, or let's see, I had the kick in there. Yes, I want to do that. All right, just again to show you how this is done, right? Again, I'm going to touch the record button, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have started that right immediately. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to quantize that out again. I already know I made a slight little mistake at the end. But again, I'm just trying to rush through this so to give you an example of what we are talking about here when it comes to programming a style or making a style from scratch, right? So that's what I have for drums right now. Let's not worry about the congas and everything else. I'm going to go now to my bass. I'm going to touch the bass on the screen right there. And it tells me already octave up or octave down. Okay, hit the record so I can see what the note's going to sound like. Now, this is where the style programming differentiates itself from sequencing. Let's say let me first use an example of a song here. So I wanted to play Ole, 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 feeling hot, hot, hot in a funky version. Normally you'll be Ole, 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 Ole. Now, if you notice, I am changing the notes as I'm playing in real time. That is sequencing, right? But for a style, I'm just going to record the root chord, the root tonality. Ole, 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 in the key of C, because when I'm going back to play that rhythm, when I change the chord, the machine automatically is going to adapt to that particular chord I'm playing. So this is where you differentiate. With the drums, doesn't really matter because drums don't have anything to do with tonality for the most part. But, and I say for the most part because it's an exception there too, right? I can program drum parts to be able to come in when you play a minor versus when you play a major. And that's what we do with the AJAMSONIC styles. So when you play majors, minors, and seventh, you hear like a conga coming in when you play a seventh, or a bass slide coming in when you play a seventh. But when you play a major chord, that slide doesn't come in, and that's intentional. We use all those little tricks to be able to make the style breathe and to have a less monotonous feel when you're playing, right? So again, we're programming a style. So in this case, I'm going to put everything in the key of C, all right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do I do that? This is what I programmed. Okay, I have this on here transposed. So I have this. That is what I programmed. Now, let's check out the style. Let me play that and actually put chords to that, right? So you see what I'm saying? You program in the key of C, all right? But you have to think ahead of the melody of the song you're trying to produce a style for, such that when the machine, when you play a different chord, it will change those notes for you automatically. And this is where you need to see again the difference between a style and a sequence or a MIDI file, right? So a style is where you let the style, it's open because it can be used to play different songs for the most part. So that's what we did on the bass line. I'm going to go now and do, let's say, a piano. Again, the same thing applies to the piano, okay? I'm going to do everything in the key of C. Why is that volume low? Oh, right. Here we go. And I'm going to turn that volume up. No, 122. So, again, ole, 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 ole. If I'm playing it live, but if I'm going to do like a ole, 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 ole. So that's what I'll be playing if I were to sequence this and have that in that particular variation. So if I press A, so that way I don't have to change the chords anymore. This is going to be nice for guitar players because they're going to have that backing going by itself. Now, if you want to play a style, which is what we're doing, you want to program this in this particular key, which we're going to do right now. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now, this again, that's what we programmed. And the arranger, okay, this is very, very, just subtle on how to do on the machine. What we do at AJAMSONIC and most professional style programmers, we don't use the machine to program. We actually do all of this in a MIDI software like Cakewalk or Cubase, and then we bring it into the machine and just fine-tune it because there's a lot more accurate and you can do a lot more like shifting notes and getting the notes to sound accurate. Programming on the machine itself is very, very tedious, but I'm just showing you how it can be done for the sake of this presentation as well. So we have the bass, we have the guitar, we have the drums for arranger A, right? So now I want to test it out. I'm going to go ahead and do this. What's the beauty about a style? I can take that particular rhythm and play something else, right? they're great. But you saw what I just did, and this has been about maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes or so. So again, but it's very, very tedious, just so you know. This is arranger A. You have to program the parts for arranger B, arranger C, arranger D, all the fill-ins, 3 of them. Sorry, 4 of them. All the breaks, 4 of them. All the intros, 3 of them. All the endings, 3. That's 18 parts that you have to program, right, to be able to achieve a style. Now, I'm just going to do something here real quick. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to just save it as it is. I want to show you another shortcut, all right? We're going to hit save, and we're going to save this as AJ demo, or it exists. You want to, yeah, okay, AJ demo. So watch what we discussed before in the live modeling. This is tedious. This requires you to really know what music is all about. But guess what? We can now go to live modeling, and I can cheat, right? Because in the live modeling, I can be able to go in there, and I can go to live modeling, and I can change that bass line or even borrow from other parts of the style. So if I have this, I'm going to go in now, and I'm going to go into that live guitar again. And I'm going to go into electric, and I'm going to pick something else, like this guitar, for example. You see that? That guitar just changed everything. And remember, I'm just adding onto the bones of that style I just programmed, right? I had the skeleton. I had a little bit, the drum and bass and some piano there. But now I'm going to go into the live modeling, and I'm going to pick out different parts or different elements. I just added the live guitar for an example. I might want to also add some percussion, right? So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to say, let's see, I can go into congas or bongas, right? Rather than having to program those from scratch, what if I were to pick up bongo number 4? See how it sounds like. Of course, I have to bring that volume up. Right now, the volume's on 0. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to bring that up. Here we go. So you get the idea. I can also use any of these empty spots, right? I can touch that and hold for 2 seconds. And let's say I want to put some other orchestral part. I'm going to touch orchestral on the screen there real quick. Let's go into, let's see, I'm going to go into my ensemble. And I'm going to pick maybe a choir R, okay? How is that going to sound in my style? Or some strings. Here we go. So you see that? And now I've added some more elements. Guess what? I'm just going to hit the save again. Touch save. And I'm going to ask, it's going to ask me, you want to save this? I'm going to say yes. Already exists. All right. Do you want to override it? Yes, I want to. And here we go. AJ demo. So guess what now? The AJ demo is a demonstration of a style that we just completed, okay, for the most part. And I showed you in a nutshell how to create parts from scratch. But if you are lazy or you're not too musically savvy, you can also use the style modeling and get different tools. Use the style modeling tool and get different templates that you can now bring into your style. And now you have the best of both worlds. All right. So I hope that was able to answer a lot of the questions in there. That's getting deep into sequencing and all that stuff, right? Are there different bass riffs possible for major, minor, seventh? I think about the 1980s song "Black Is Black." Yes, there are different bass riffs. So if you go into the modeling, right, as we did before, you go to View, and then you go into, live modeling, right? And you want to go to the bass riff. You go to the top right-hand corner. Oh, yeah, not on the screen again. Top right-hand corner. And then you touch bass, right? And these are all the different categories of bass, right? So for a song like Black is Black, you're going to probably be in the R&B funk category. And you have all these different funky bass lines you can pick from, right? So let's see if I have some more questions. Let's go over to the folks on Facebook and see what's going on Facebook. Nice one, nice one. Thank you. Thank you so much. Here we go. Here we go. Good product as well. Yes, we have a lot of people watching today. We were able to fix the issue from last week. And let's go to the other Facebook stream. If we have any questions, a couple of people are clapping, and that's good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now Let's go on to the next part of the demonstration. So this is, again, it may look complicated, but once you do it once or twice, you know, when it comes to making your own rhythms, it's going to be a piece of cake down the road as well. All right? So let's go back to another one I was going to work with here. I'm going to go into my page, and I'm going to go into my registration, and we're going to pick, let's see here, vocalizers. Yeah, I wanted to do the how you do the harmonizer, right? For the most part. So I'm going to switch my microphone here real quick, just so you see what I'm doing, right? So the other mic I was using, let's see, 4. Okay, that's the one for that one. Okay, 4. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to switch this microphone out real quick, but I want to see, so you guys should see what I am doing here exactly. All right, so this is my normal mic. No, I think I got the wrong one with the whole thing on the screen. So let's get my face out of this one, and let's pick this one, right? So this is my regular mic, which is plugged into the mixer, which I have back there, PreSonus mixer, PreSonus Studio Live mixer. These are one of the best mixers that you can have in terms of if you want to have live sound, right? A lot of digital mixers have a lot of processing that goes on. PreSonus waits until the last minute before they begin their processing, and so you have that analog feel, that natural analog feel when you use their mixers. I would highly recommend the PreSonus mixers. A little bit steep, but I think it's worth it when you're talking about having clean, live, natural sound. So this is my regular mic. I'm going to switch over to this microphone, which is plugged into this keyboard, as you can see, right? So let's see here if I can put this in a spot where I don't have to worry about it. So this is my mic, which is plugged into the keyboard, right? And again, we had people asking about the demonstration with Vocalizer, all right? So that's what this is about. So as you can see right now, this microphone is plugged into the keyboard. If I go to my top panel, all right, and I'm going to switch over here, you can see how I can demonstrate this real quick. If I turn off the talk button, you can get the echoes in there, okay? So everything is being controlled here on the keyboard itself. And I can use the microphone on and off, right? So in this tune, I'm going to do something with the guitars, so you can actually hear what I'm doing. Now I'm going to bring up that second voice over here a little bit so we can get this. Use an Ajamsonic nylon guitar. Okay, so now if you look at the screen, I'm going to turn on this vocalizer. I'm going to hit microphone and turn on this harmonizer. And I want to add a lot of reverb in there. I want to pick the trio mode, which is what I like for my voice. And I'm going to also increase the volume of the echo here, so I can add some echo to my voice. Now, if you notice, that is actually going to be synchronized to the rhythm, right? It's going to be synchronized to whatever the style, the tempo of the style is. So if I do this, oh, that's my natural voice coming through. And if I take out the talk, I was a poor boy, deep down inside, didn't have a place to go to, came back inside, oh no. So pretty much, if I do this now, take out that a little bit and have that as my main voice, and here we go. Let's check this one out. my left and to my right, didn't know where to go. I was a stranger. Pick me up now, couldn't know what to do, what to harmonize. To be number one, to be number one, to be number one, to be number one. I was a soul boy, deep down inside, didn't know what to do, didn't know who to talk to. I was a poor boy, deep down inside, didn't know where to go to, didn't know who to talk to. I came upon a stranger, who took me inside, gave me water, gave me everything I needed now. To be number one, to be number one, to be number one, to be number one. I was a poor boy, deep down inside, didn't know what to say, didn't know where to go. I was a stranger, ooh, you took me inside, gave me water, gave me food, hallelujah. To be number one, to be number one, number one. To be number one, to be number one, to be number one. That was me, pretty much. Oh, take out that harmonizer real quick. Harmonizing and trying to, I guess, do a lot of things at once, right? So let me get back to my microphone. I was just trying to show you again how we can use the vocalizer by taking the microphone, regular mic. This is a Shure SM58. Plugging that into the keyboard, right, into the back of the keyboard, and now you can control the microphone settings and everything on there. But let's get back to my Shure KSM9. Here we go. As you notice, I am calling the, what I'm using in terms of the products, because a lot of people have been asking for an example. What do you use for the microphone? What do you use for the mixers? What do you use for the cameras to be able to get that particular quality? What do you use for the lights as well, too? So in that particular jam that we just did right there, you could hear, again, some of the live guitar sounds, okay? And these are the acoustic sounds that are found with the Ajamsonic package. You could also hear, again, some of the arps in the background, but then I was able to bring in those harmonies, right? Now imagine, if I could do it and it sounds like that, imagine what you could do, especially if you are a professional singer as well, right? So let's see. Let's look at some comments. People are just having fun for the most part. I know a lot of people are at work, so they're watching this behind the scenes, right, with headphones and what have you. Let's see. Are there different? Okay, there we go. The bass riff has that. Okay, good. Great sound. The SD9. When you use the Launchpad, how can you change sounds between two scenes? All right, we're gonna get to the Launchpad very, very soon, right? So you would always use a sustain pedal, right? The sustain pedal. Well, there's a couple of things. Inside the sound that we're using, right, we actually have, let me turn that down so you can hear the guitar. So that sample already has some of the sustain within it, right? But also, I'm using the articulation. So so we have like notes coming when you release the keys. You have the notes actually coming off as well too. All right. That's only with the Ajamsonic package. The regular SD9 would not be able to produce that because of what it has in terms of its limitations. Told you before, I have the two sustain pedals. Okay, so I can sustain this sound, and I have another one here. Okay, so I can have a different sound coming up here. Okay, so enough about that. So yeah, someone asked about the Launchpad. So for that, I'm going to go somewhere interesting. I'm going to go into the Launchpads. Now, to activate the Launchpad, now we're getting into exclusive SD9 and SD90 territory, right? So the next demonstration does not apply to SD7 and SD40. This is now where the SD9 and 90 take you a step above. We're going to check out one of our new styles, and you're going to see the power of having live drums. I mean, the live drums just, it's night and day, right? Very, very exciting. But I'm going to leave you guys to be the ones to let me know what you're hearing over there. So for this one, it's a live Afro samba, okay? Before we get into the pad, okay? The pad is going to be the next demonstration. But I wanted to see the power of being able to use live instrumentation on the instrument itself. So in this case, let's see how it's gonna sound like. Okay? So here, if I just did the drums, right, just to give you an idea of what you're talking about. These are, listen to that. Those vintage drums, right? So the good thing about this is that you could actually have a drummer, all right, send you a file, for example, play drums in your studio, or you can have them come to your place and you record them, right? And then you now take the recording that he's done and you cut it up into different segments. So you have A, B, C, and D. So this is a live drummer, right? The live drummer playing. If I go to arranger D, I mean, just listen to that. Okay, fill, C. So this gives you an idea of the variation, right? For the Afro samba. It gets crazy. So this is, I can see some people like, yeah, you know, you're kind of like in that groove, right? So let's do a slight little demonstration so you can so you can hear how it sounds when you're playing something along with it too, right? Okay. On the bottom keyboard, I'm going to pick another guitar. Just guitar. Add all the effects you want to add, okay, to make it, to spice it up, and you're left with something that sounds. I don't think I need a pen at this point. So, and I'm going to have the arranger coming from here. So let's see how this is going to sound like. Here we go. So, what were we doing there pretty much? We took that little Afro samba and we're adding guitar parts to it. So again, this is one of the new styles that we're working with again, right? So if you hear the complexity of the style, you can imagine how much time it takes to be able to get to that point where everything is falling in place, all the different variations, all the different parts as well. So it takes a lot of I would want to say time, but not just time as well, to some degree talent as well, and also to have an idea of, at the end of the day, whoever is purchasing this, or whoever is getting this rhythm or this sound or this style, what are they going to do with it, right? So you have to have an idea of where they're coming from in terms of their being able to use this style in real life situation. Okay, I'm going to go now to the Launchpad. Now this is where it also gets very interesting because I think somebody had asked a question about that. And so I'm going to use this as a demonstration, all right? I'm going to go in there, click on open, and I'm going to go into, let's see here. I'm going to pick up one real quick, Clean Up Woman. It's a very, very nice one to use as a demonstration, okay? And hit enter. So now with the Launchpad, this is where you have your sequencing. Remember in the beginning, at the beginning of this video, well, somewhere in the middle, we spoke about creating styles and creating sequences. And then where they diverge or where they differ, I explained to you what the difference was. Well, guess what? In the Launchpad, it's the opposite. It's where they come together, right? So with the styles, what you're limited with, the Launchpad, which is a sequencer, can achieve that. With a sequencer, what you're limited with, especially when you're performing live, the style engine, you can achieve that. Everything here. We have a video out on our YouTube page detailing how to use the Launchpad. So we're not going to go into too much detail, but this is what the Launchpad can do. This is how, what kind of results you can expect to get from the Launchpad. Now, for the question that the gentleman asked about the being able to assign scenes and voices, make sure you have the latest software, because they did add some things in there as well, especially being able to start with key start, right? So I can start there with a key start, you know, before we didn't have that particular feature in there as well. So we have that in there now. Let's add a nice wave. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the voice out, for example. I'm gonna look for a nice synth sound. Now, I'm going to go ahead and work with that wave. So I can do this and start again with that. Bringing that wave file right there. Launchpad, okay? It's live guitars and MIDI coming together. Live drum. Playing together. So again, you can notice what I'm doing right there. I'm just playing around to show you example. I can turn parts on and off for an example, and I can even change the tempo, and all the wave elements will actually stretch without a change in the pitch. Okay, so I'm going to leave you off with another Launchpad. This is, I guess, for the African community, Afro-Caribbean as well. This is to show you the power of this machine, all right? And, you know, again, if you have any questions, please give us a call, okay? I'm going to display that information below the screen so you can see exactly where and how to give us a ring, because I know people have been asking, for example, how to get a hold of us. But this information is below the screen right now, so you can give us a ring. All right. So in this demonstration, I'm going to pick on a very famous song that was back in the motherland as well. Let me get that guitar back again here, and then I'm going to get. Oh, there we go. a nice acoustic sound there. So in this one, I'm going to use the Launchpad, and I'm going to pretty much be going back and forth between the two boards. I want you to listen to the sound that comes out of the Launchpad here, right? Especially pay attention to the guitars. And since this will be the last number, let me see if I can have any questions that are out there first before I go into this number, and then we fade out. And I want to say thank you all for coming out, especially given the fact that we're approaching Christmas, and a lot of people are pretty much out there shopping and doing the last minute, if at all any of the stores are still open at this moment in time. But I would like to take it upon this opportunity from KETRON USA to say thank you for taking time to spend it with us. We have a lot more videos out there showing the use of this machine. I had mentioned before, especially with the guitar players, we do have the module, which is the SD90, which is this little guy. So if you want to be able to do everything I've just showed you right now, let's go back into that screen right there. You can see, okay, you can actually use the SD90, right? So you can actually see that. And this is pretty much this keyboard. If I go back to the top of the screen here, this keyboard without the keys, right? So you're looking at a module where you can plug in, if you have a MIDI accordion or you have a MIDI guitar, for an example, you can actually use one of these, right? And save some money too. So that's going to be my little guide for next week. So for next week, we're going to use that one with the MIDI guitar, and you can see how you can accomplish all of this as a guitar player with that small little box, okay? So let's see, nice one, nice one, nice one. Yes, thank you very much. Without much ado, we're going to now end the show with this last number, and I think a lot of people were asking for this as well too. So we're going to end with this one. Thank you once again, and see you all next week, okay? See you all next week. Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Have a wonderful, wonderful week or rest of the week, and see